Hi guys, and welcome to the Rocket League Replays YouTube channel. Today, we want to present the video replay of the match between Akron Blue and Northwood Blue during the Collegiate Rocket League Fall 2024. Don't forget to subscribe and put a like. Enjoy.
The longest rivalry in the history of collegiate esports, the El Clasico of CRL, shows itself again, but this time it's a bit different. Akron peaking beyond compare, but a surging Northwood want to prove the crown still fits on their head. But in order to do so, Taco, they gotta do it 2 times in a row.
I really don't want to confuse people saying that I don't like the Akron team. It's one of my favorite teams to watch. All these guys really do earn it every single week. They are looking so deadly. They're some of the best of friends, and certainly they have the chemistry and skill to prove it. But you're going up against the big bad Northwood. They are always going to be seemingly a final boss you have to get past. It's the skill check team of all skill check teams. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like that. Opening goal, very familiar for our first series.
What on earth just happened? We're expecting this incredible back and forth. 2 teams that are not going to give a single break to either side. And immediately, that's thrown out the window. Bullseye finds the first, and Taco, I guess it's just going to be as spicy as the first time we saw him.
Yeah, and I don't want to use too much high-level terminology, but in the industry, we call that a bruh moment from Northwood, as that one just goes straight into the net, and you're thinking, okay, this is it. We lost this team, but we're going to lock in, and that's just it, isn't it? Okay, well, that's a 50 you don't want to take. So if you're Akron, best possible start for them. Reminder, they just need 1 series victory, and for them, that has to feel a lot cleaner than having to march through the lowers like their opponents have had to.
Yeah, it is. It's been a rough day for Northwood, to put it simply. But as we've mentioned, it's been a rough couple weeks for Northwood, a team that didn't even expect to get tested in this semester of CRL, and they have been tested multiple times. And I don't really know if I can say they've been passing with flying colors. They haven't played poorly. This has been multiple times that Northwood has at least made a top 8, if not made it further. But again, a team that was expected to take wins here in our opens. They've yet to do so, but they're making the grand finals a second time. Unfortunately, similar to the last time that they played, they're not exactly starting off on the right foot.
Well, Patty's trying to be able to kickstart everything because he's going for yet another double tap. Green's going to get stopped in his track. 5 up with a dunk down. Should lead to Patty. Being able to re-energize things. Double tap on the near post. Hockey, no boost, but able to get kind of planted against that backboard by that air dribble from his opponent. So luckily Northwood able to get away with it, but right now we'll see if they can maybe steal something away with the low 50. I like that approach from Zanil. Akron, though, if you put 2 bodies in the way, that's going to be enough.
Yeah, they're playing very similar to the first time we saw Northwood play here today, just taking it slow, waiting for moments, trying to figure out where the weaknesses of their opponents are. This reserve play of Northwood is not something unfamiliar to probably any collegiate fan watching, but maybe it's an Akron who already know that they're going to play this way and are trying to take advantage. You can see it. They're jumping at everything. They're staying aggressive and in the face of their opponents. That lack of hesitation is what won them the first series. I'm glad to see them doing it again here in the grand final.
5 up, he's going straight for that corner boost after that long clear. Neil's not too worried about it. He's more interested in maintaining possession. Hockey, maybe less so, is going to go for a skim on that touch and doesn't work out. That ball behind Creams, but not past 5 up yet. Bullseye quickly up to try to beat out Zanil, and he will not be successful in that venture, but fortunately for Akron, nobody on Northwood able to creep on up until 5 up almost gives it away. Creams asking way too much for that double, and therefore it'll just go to the corner.
They'll keep the offense going, though, but not a lot of boost, so maybe this long ball upfield could change that. Patty, look, double, can't find contact. Feels like it's a similar theme on either end. Both teams trying to go for that extraordinary mechanical play, not finding the contact necessary in order to find a goal. Northwood, it's a bit more important, though. 3 minutes scoreless here in game number 1, and Akron back in offense again. 5 up, lobs to center, nobody home on defense, and Bullseye to double the tally.
I looked down on my screen into the corner, and I didn't see anything. I looked across the field, and that was where the third was. It's a recovery that was not there from Northwood. A wide open shot, 2 for 2 now is Bullseye living up to his name.
Okay, Akron proving they're not just peaking, this is their new form. Already proving that, hey, you might have thought that Northwood, they got warm, they've been playing well through the lowers, but apparently they've been doing something in between the series here. Akron do not look like they have missed a beat in comparison to the way they played in our first series of the day. And honestly, I think we're kind of foolish for almost thinking that they wouldn't look this good. We said it, Akron have gotten better every time that we watch them play, and for them to do the same thing here in the grand finals is spectacular. Job's not done yet, though. 100 seconds to go. They still need to be careful, or maybe Bullseye just gets a hat trick. Not quite. Denied off the backboard from Zanil.
5 up, look at the control. Patty trying to finish that one off. Hockey saying, no, the most you're going to get is 2 if I have any say about things, but it's not able to actually continue that offense, which is why Cream's going to try to combine with Hockey. I like the idea, but that pass a bit too far away from Zanil. He'll dive at it regardless, and I don't really blame him for that one. There's not a lot of time, especially if the scoreline keeps on growing. 5 up, can't get the hook shot on target, past that goalie.
Minute to go. Akron just controlling this game number 1. It's not as if they have dominated it, but it's been very limited options for, oh my goodness, this Northwood side. One thing will stay true for them, though. Creams has been fantastic on defense, and he shows up again and again. Patty denied on the line, but at this point, they don't need to get more goals. Akron just need to lock Northwood into their half, and they're doing a good job. Bullseye, another deflection at midfield as Northwood struggles to break out.
Pass down, Patty, open double. Hockey's late to it again, and yet he's able to pick the right angle as Patty was drifting a bit too much on that last one, but not really going to worry them. Still 2-goal lead and a lot of time to be able to bleed off. Akron seemingly fine with that, particularly if Northwood keeps getting predicted. How about a pre-jump from Patty? How about a follow from Zanil? And Demo will aid in that pursuit. 1-goal game with 20 to go.
And this is why you can never count Northwood out. Just at the moment you think, all right, Akron's got this one wrapped up, a demo in front of net, a clever fake to misdirect the shot, and boom, lead cut in half. 23 seconds to go. Can Northwood find an overtime in game 1, just like I think every other series they have played today?
One of those more awkward moments where you do get that deflection off the sidewall, like on that last one from Akron, and then you don't have the follow-through. Then it's just kind of sitting in the middle, and everyone kind of looks at each other like, do you have that? Do they have that? And while you're doing that, Zanil's going for a demo, or really everybody on Northwood's going for demo, but now they got to go for something a bit more finesse. How about an air dribble all the way across the field? That 50 does not help. Hockey, high lob, Creams is up for it, so is 5 up. That will stay up for Zanil to knock it into Hockey. Is Bullseye did miss that, but not all of Akron gonna be fooled.
Number 2, but there's at least one guarantee. We'll at least be able to play a couple more unless Akron says, hey, we're just going to take the next 3 straight, which, to be honest, after the game when they played, I'm not going to deny that that's a possibility. Yeah, Northwood are playing well, but again, Akron, we keep on saying that they're playing to their peak. This might just be the new standard for this team.
Ooh, Hockey is wide open, and even with a little bit of pinball in there, it's still going to go on through, but look at this build-up by Zanil. Gets the reset, keeps it low, and poor Bullseye can only do so much. Playing for the 50, he did not get any.
That is kind of crazy that was almost still a save. Even in the most chaotic of moments, Akron still keeping their heads on straight and not really worrying all too much. This isn't probably going to phase them. The first goal in favor of Northwood, but they still have plenty left in the tank for a response here in game number 2. Creams trying to get something off the ceiling. Great 50-50, but only into the hands of Patty, who will launch Akron into another offense.
Patty getting the 100 boost, but can only do so much with that deflection. However, Bullseye can do quite a lot with that. High lob, Cream's going to immediately jump for this one and gets a double as well. Zanil in tow to be able to knock that one real dangerously. 5 up going to forego the boost. Does not get the read, luckily. The staggered defense from Akron still paying dividends.
Zanil not going to make it to that one. Pre-jumped from 5 up, might even give his team a shot, if not for the pass out center being deflected by Hockey. Perfectly played out to Zanil as well, but Zanil does not perfectly play it off of the ceiling. Awkward scenes here for Northwood as they probably should have launched into a counterattack there, but can't quite find a way to even get an offense started. How about on this play? 50 from Hockey. Ricochets out to where Patty's waiting, but he's going to get interrupted. Both teams no longer fearing, no longer hesitating on any of these plays. Akron might need to be careful, because I think Northwood is starting to figure him out.
Yeah, this is a tough one as well. 5 up's trying to improv his way through this one, but Hockey actually reads that when he knows it's 5 is above that ball. There's really no touch he can do to push that forward. It has to go down, and that's where the comms come in as well. Hockey follows through, puts it high, and there's only one player reaching that ball in time.
And that one player has been integral throughout this entire day, and really to this team as a whole. Northwood starting to finally fire on all cylinders. Can they do it again? Creams looking for it off the kickoff. Can't quite find it past the final defender. Maybe 5 up Cam on the other end. Nope, flip reset. Not going to lock in, and he's got no boost. He'll look for a back pass to Patty, but a little bit too awkward for Akron to really establish anything in this front third.
Zanil quickly up, trying to find Creams in space, as Creams has been relatively quiet. 34 points, rather. Now 36 that last touch, so mostly uninvolved, but honestly, what's a better job than just watching your teammates peek on the other team, just kind of sitting back and making sure you're solidifying the defense. Kind of like that, reading the ball off the corner, even with 2 Akron players in his face.
I mean, the best way to play is to have two other players carry you and just to be able to do your job in the right moments. We talked a lot about that from two different players in our lower semifinal when it was Sosa just carrying the offense and CMOS just really being in the right place at the right time for every play that we saw. Sometimes you don't need all the flash. Sometimes you just need to do it right. And right now, I was going to say Northwood are doing it right, and they'll do it again. Zenil, how on earth did you keep that out?
Well, one thing is he didn't panic. A lot of players actually panic too much. They try to get to that read as fast as possible, then they end up flying by it because they don't hit the brakes beforehand. But Zanil knew he had time to touch that away, but good job on him for also saying, I have the first touch. Someone's going to need to get the second one. Coordination from Northwood, sending it back on. It's a huge reason why they do have their lead and why I feel like it even could still grow if Akron is not careful. They're going to probably get more and more aggressive as this game goes on, because if it's a one-goal game, you can kind of afford a little bit more of a leisurely approach. When it's 2 down, you really need to start pressing down on that accelerator, and especially hope that it doesn't even get more of a downhill battle, as it looks like Northwood keeps trying to press forward. This time, though, Bullseye does well to bait in the challenge with no success.
Zanil looking for the double touch off the backboard. He did find at least the space to be able to do so, but unfortunately couldn't find the follow-up touch. Northwood starting to find more and more time spent on this Akron half, though. A response here would go a long way, but Hockey not going to blink on the line. A great save, and then a demo after. Should mean that Akron are going to have to retreat. Or maybe not. They don't seem to care. Numbers disadvantage, but they're still charging into offense. Maybe this is that no fear attitude, just extended a little bit more.
And rolling all the way back across for Bullseye to be able to wrangle. Gets a 50 as well. Luckily for Northwood, creams all the way back to send it to Zanil off the ceiling, saving his flip near post. Borderline unsavable when you pass like that.
Zanil continuing to show up when it matters most, and my goodness, did he show up when nobody expected it. 5-ups planted in net with a full tank of boost, and by the time he realizes Zanil is coming off the ceiling for the shot, it is already far too late. Akron, the wake-up call that we kind of expected. It was the same thing that happened the first time these two teams played. History, I guess, repeats itself.
And this is where I really do get worried when teams start to play against Northwood, because you see game one, you're thinking, okay, you know, apparently they're doing fine. I don't really see a problem, any concern, Northwood who? And then you get in game two and they really start getting going. I just feel like they just own Forbidden Temple. It just feels like they know how to play on this map. They just need a little bit of a warm-up and then they're all fine. And I think the scoreline repeatedly showing that when I believe this is 7-0 in their past 2 meetings against Akron on this map.
Yup, something about the cherry blossom trees, man. It just makes them feel comfortable, makes them feel at home, and also makes them get the win. 45 seconds to go. I would be surprised if Akron can turn this around, especially considering Northwood are still just living in offense here. They are not even allowing the team to get to midfield. It's not 50s at midfield. It's literally just like cutting it out before the chance arrives. Finally, they get there, and immediately they are met with another 50. Northwood, this is the version of them that we were expecting. This is the version of them that could see a second series.
Thing is, they have to chain it together, and we know how that happened, or at least tried to happen last time. Patty open shot with a demo. Woo! So maybe something if they can engineer some kickoffs, but that's asking a lot.
It's asking a lot, but I'll say Bullseye has a way to deliver. That is a fantastic demo in front of net. 5-up getting the assist, but I'll mark one on my stat sheet here to give one to Bullseye as well. 14 to go. Hold your breath. This kickoff's going to be important.
They'll go just for regular standard kickoff. Patty is ready for it to be able to lob it all the way over past Hockey, who does get the read, but it's straight down. 5-up had a pass, didn't want to go for it because Creams was marking it. This has to go in before 0, and it does not. All the way back down. A little bit of a psycho attempt just for fun, because that's all this is. It's already done and dusted. Game 2 belonging to Northwood in our grands.
And we get a tied series, and just like that, all of a sudden, the best of 7 we have here in finals does not matter. Best of 5 from here on out between the two sides, and really, it's that play at the table, a double touch off the backboard from Zanil, a great example of that. But this team seems to get more mechanical the further they get into the series. So here in Game 3, let's see, can they stunt to start this one off?
5-up, able to take this one a little bit. It looks like that was a plan B, or trying to just get that little deflection, but either way, not going to always work out. So Patty gonna have to take it back all the way to his corner. Misses that touch somewhat. Hockey, not much of a plan outside of that. So instead, Cream's demo gonna slow down 5-up as he has to respawn in. And honestly, Northwood, not much aggression, but it's very calculated when they actually do go for those.
It really is, and I will say the demo play starting to become more prevalent for Northwood is something I hope our entire audience is going to pay attention to. They are a team that like those demos at the most timely of moments. They're not going to do them willy-nilly. They're not going to try to tilt out a team and just constantly rain fire upon them, say, similar to I'd say St. Edwards or SDSU strategy we saw over the summer. This is a team that'll use them at the right moments, utilize them, really use them as a resource, and although they haven't done it now, it's why they've been given so much time on offense. Double commit there might end their stay here on the offensive third, but as they get sent into their own half, Cream's well prepared to restart again.
Really nice touch, and actually he has his options to choose from. Double commit, but who really cares? It's the same result.
You know what? I'll excuse the double commit here because I think both of them went, oh, this is completely open, huh? I want this goal, and poor Zenil. Well, you gotta slow down the scoring of Zenil at some point. Gotta let Creams and Hockey get involved, and what a perfect time to do so. The lead here in Game 3 after just a minute of play.
Like, listen, I know Hockey, he's a quiet dude. He's a little soft-spoken. He doesn't really pop up too much, I feel like, within these games, but he's a great midfielder. I'm sick of the Hockey erasure, so I would love for him to get some more statistics. So I'm all in favor of cutting in front of Zenil. He's had enough, and maybe he can get some in the later stages of this game. For Akron's sake, I think they would like to be able to curtail all scoring at this point. I don't think they really have the offensive capacity yet to be able to contend with Northwood when they start cooking and get multiple goals per game. Zenil trying to provide that with a pass down to Hockey, pre-flip into the corner. It's looking pretty. Zenil might look for a pass down to Creams. Not able to get high enough.
They are starting to bait Akron into these challenges here. Oh my goodness, and it almost works out as a ricochet into net will not be found. But this is kind of the concern, and something we saw in the first series as well, is that Akron, if you are going to be with this go, go, go attitude the entire time, eventually they're going to recognize, okay, they're going to make a challenge here. And if you can fake it out, great example there is Zenil just plays it around his opponent rather than even opting for the 50, it becomes problematic. You're too predictable at a certain point, but it might not matter if Patty can get that angle. He cannot, and the follow-up from Bullseye will do nothing. Almost halfway through this game, and Akron might need to figure out a new strategy. They are no longer taking Northwood by surprise.
Bullseye slows down for a microsecond. Zenil leaps on top of that to get the deflection. 5 up. Trying to take that one low. Green's losing that 50, and then some. Bullseye quickly up, meeting Hockey. Deflection backside. Zenil needs the read. Roller up for 5 up. He's going to go off the ceiling. It's a heavy touch. A double commit by Northwood means it's still a deflection, but the thing is, the ball isn't staying in the center. It keeps going left and right. Half the time, Akron's on offense, they're just trying to chase down this ball.
Yeah, it's the big issue right now is that Akron aren't really developing plays. They're getting touches. They're definitely not just completely being outclassed, but that's the concern. You buy into your offense this heavily, you make challenges like that, the retreat's going to be sloppy, and, well, Creams takes advantage.
Now, it's got to be a bit more of a possessional play in my mind. Akron cuts across this one. Patty wants to keep it alive, so hits it directly across. Sometimes you just got to back pass it because you know that deflection is going to carry pretty heavily into your half. Sometimes you need to understand, okay, this attack isn't going to work. We'll just try on the next one, but it's hard to be able to stay in that mindset when you are playing against Northwood team that is just all over the pitch, even on the ceiling as Hockey tried that pre-jump.
I mean, you're mentioning it. You kind of just got to, wipe that one away. Memory of a goldfish, a valuable thing here in Rocket League. But unfortunately for Akron, this might need to be one of those moments they actually remember everything going on. They need to learn their lesson about just diving into challenges, getting baited into challenges by this Northwood defense. Because really, the defense has been the focal point for Northwood right now for me. They've been so quick on the transitions. A great example is Hockey just fires immediately and maybe even gets a couple 50s to set up a teammate. No, instead, Bullseye, though, finally carries this out past midfield. Can Akron now finally find a solid offense?
Patty was looking for a pass there. I think halfway through he realized he's not able to get around it the way he wanted. Just opted for the hit right forward. Easy save for Northwood. Combination still trying to work in as Bullseye was intercepted from that pass that it was attempted to find him. And right now, this is the flow state that I was getting a little anxious about coming into this one. Akron is really struggling to find these passes, and when they do, Northwood's already there, much like right here. Zenil waits for that delay, still gets a 50 away.
He really is doing such a good job at forcing these challenges. Like you said, the little bit of delay may not seem like it's something significant, but it's enough to force a challenge out of Akron and then give some time for his teammates to grab some boosts, get prepared on defense, and it's why none of these shots that are going even close to net are catching anybody on Northwood by surprise. They're prepared for almost every one of these plays, and unfortunately, I think Akron's going to have to be prepared to play this series from behind. 40 seconds to go, not a single goal scored through over 4 minutes of play, and errors like that aren't going to help them out whatsoever.
Yeah, they had some boost, but the problem is your thought process, you wanted to go upfield. Patty had 100 boosts, and as he jumps for it, maybe expecting a little bit of a heavier touch, maybe off the ceiling or something to be able to deflect it down, but at the end of the day, I think the writing is on the wall. 2 goals down, 30 seconds, now 3 goals down. It's going to be even harder for you to come on into it. You just have to shake it off, and sometimes you just use the remainder of this game, just plan on what's going to be coming next, because it seems like this one is just more of the same in game 2, not the back and forth that we were accustomed to from the first series we saw these two match up.
Well, the big issue for them is that, you're trying to figure out what's coming next. You don't know which player is going to come to life in any of these games. We talked about it in Game 2. Zanil just really lighting up the scoreboard with a goal and an assist. This game, he doesn't even get a goal or an assist. It's all Creams and Hockey combining for the offense, and that's what makes this Northwood team so difficult to get past. In the game where Zanil is not involved in offense, he's making saves like that. In the game where Creams is not involved in offense, he's making saves as well. This team so well-rounded, and it's why they're going to take the lead here 2-1 in the series as they take a shutout. Too heavy play style, but it's the fact that Northwood are taking advantage of it. A lot of teams would see teams like that just dive at them and they wouldn't know how to react. They buckle underneath the pressure and just keep losing 50s, keeping you in opportunities. But Northwood recognizing that that's the strategy Akron are going for is why they're starting to get the advantage here, really counterplaying them to the best of their abilities. And to be quite honest, can you be surprised? It's Northwood. They counterplay teams so unbelievably well. It's why all 3 of these players literally were professional players signed to organizations during this RLCS season. Granted, they are also going up against the only team in the history of Collegiate to ever make it to RLCS as a Collegiate squad. Technically, it's a little bit different, but when you're adding 5 up to the roster, theoretically, they should be able to repeat the results. Can they do it here in Game 4? It's a make-or-break one for Akron.
Yeah, even though they do have another game after this one, that is not the situation you want to be looking at. More or less, in a best-of-5 scenario that we had mentioned, once you trade the first 2 games, it would be more or less a reverse sweep. So don't want to be able to even contemplate that. You just focus on taking it 1 goal at a time, and also not rushing anything too much. Bullseye, understand they'd have no pressure on that one. They take it slow, which works fine up until the goalie gets demoed. Bullseye, though, able to recover just in time.
How on earth did Bullseye get back there? And honestly, good on him for recognizing the scenario. Awkward on defense here are Akron, but I think they'll finally find a way to escape. I don't think it's going to turn into much of an offense, though, unless 5 up could have found the pinch there. Instead, Zanil booms it back into the Akron side, and Hockey tries to get a narrow angle. Still might get the pass to Zanil, but he is denied, and I'm not loving how close together everyone in Akron is playing, especially when they can't hit the open nets!
Bullseye, unfortunately, was not sure how wide that was. Was that off post? Was that off crossbar? And Patty, if that is just a pixel lighter, that is probably bar down and in. But either way, Patty has the pass. 5 up is there, and yet Northwood sees it coming. They use the third eye there, just be able to see the future, get that pre-jump off.
Oh, Akron, you gotta finish your food while it's at the table, my friends. You cannot allow opportunities like that to just fall to the wayside, especially against the Northwood, who are not giving you all too many opportunities. Speaking of which, Northwood finds one of their own. Shot on target and a midfield back in control. Akron have gotta find a way to change this up. We're in a repetitive pattern right now where over and over again, Northwood get away with highway robbery and then counterattack into a goal.
Bullseye able to tap that one high, but not going to work out. So instead, Bullseye takes his time, takes the reset. No 50 coming in, but does get the lob. Hockey will send it back to 5 up to gather up. Doesn't really have a pass available, so he'll take the solo play as he usually does. That's a wide open flip reset. Gets it past the defender, or at least I thought so. Back bumper tagging that one to the corner.
Pass out from Hockey, not going to be nearly enough, but Bullseye's touch to the corner isn't all that great either, and the double commit! Waterfall down, is anybody there for the shot? No, denied by the defense, but again, very scattered defense, constant double commits out of Akron. They've got to be careful. They haven't been punished yet, and they won't get punished there either, but eventually something's going to break.
Akron being a lot more militant about keeping that boost in there. That ball is going to the sideline. Patty just completely forgoes the read, gets the boost to be able to preserve the defense, and I think that's the right opportunity, or really right decision to be able to take in that scenario. Now we'll have to see whether or not the rest of them can take that and apply it on offense. Bullseye gets the boost steal in the corner, but Creams doesn't need it for that clear. They might need it for the follow-up, but Patty passes it down. Bullseye turns around. He was not available.
Both teams starting to get some really heavy touches, just ricocheting back and forth across this pitch. A little bit of a match of ping pong, but probably not the moment to do so if you are Akron. That's all far too risky strategy, but it might pay off. Chance there, and now the follow-up. Patty, control in the corner, can't get around the first defender. It goes straight to the ceiling, and Bullseye doesn't make the right read. Luckily enough, 5 up is back, but again, Akron really struggling to hold on to this control on offense for extended periods. It feels like they get there, get a couple of chances, and then one mistake and it all falls apart.
I love that 55. Problem is that's going to be a deflection past both of them. Bullseye chased the ball. It was there in the middle for him, but he didn't believe in that 50 coming back mid. So instead, it's going to be Northwood able to escape disaster again. A lot more midfield opportunities coming in from Akron, but sometimes it takes a lot more aggression on that rotation. Therefore, trust in the rotation to be able to make that actually pop into something.
Chance here for Creams. Can he do anything off the sidewall? Reset in the bag, but denied by Patty, and Patty's 50 after will do the same. Akron starting to deny Northwood on these chances and these passing plays a lot more often, but they need to make sure they get a goal of their own. Like we said, this is not a game that they want to lose, not one they can really afford to in any capacity. Creams tries to get something started for Northwood here. Another pass out center, another denial from the Akron defense. We're talking about Akron having to change things up. Northwood, I might say the same. These passes out center, these infield passes are just not working out anymore.
Yeah, the thing is, Akron's not really getting convincing clears either. There's a lot of touches right this one, right down the middle. 5 up, probably catches this one. Tries to slow things down, saves that flip, and will play for the 50. Now I need the follow-up here. This is what I was looking for. Bullseye quickly on at Hockey. I like that stutter step, just to be able to pop it right over him as Patty almost abandoned to the corner, which almost gave just a wide open counterattack. 5 up needs to make sure they keep this one away from Zanil, which is a task in itself.
It's going to be difficult, but it's also possible that Akron maybe take advantage of the counterattack here in the dying seconds of this game. Aki, that is not a pinch, that's barely anything, and what I think it will do is not give us an overtime. If this shot goes in, Patty on the line sends us to OT.
Well, get down, Mr. President Drill, right there as the player dove in front of the Northwood offense, being able to take a demo, but produce no shot from Northwood. But maybe it's a shot from 5 up, double tap. He's gonna miss it. Is that a tactical decision? The high lob gonna be bar down and deflection. Now all the way back to the Akron half. I thought that was gonna be an instant end to that OT.
Akron stuck somewhere in the middle ground right now. Every single challenge, it feels like they either full send or they full hesitate, and you can't afford to do so at the start of an OT where Northwood are already going for double touch resets like that. This team seems to be surging here in OT, and they'll take the win! 1 away from the bracket reset!
If you do not have the open shot, you're gonna get punished eventually. You don't take your opportunities. Hockey understands everybody flailing. Let's just put it right behind their momentum. How you wear down boost. That's how they did wear down Northwood in their first series. But now we might be done with the first of 2 potential series in the grand finals. If this does not pick up, Patty, miracle save.
They got to do something special here. This is the time for what I like to call a full send attitude. It is required if there, oh no, is a chance to avoid a second series. Hockey seems to disagree. Immediately a goal for Northwood.
And I really do like that pass down, and of course it's going to be a forced own goal because that is one of, in my opinion, the hardest reads in the game to do as a defender. When you're driving into the goal as it's dropping straight on down, you have to provide so many angles, the speed of the approach, and sometimes even the best of the best not able to get this one. But it's just Northwood being clinical, being efficient, knowing how to build up these plays, and also how to hunt for those demos. Zanil almost getting a demo, and then a follow-up off spawn, all leading to nearly a second.
How on earth did Creams, I mean, he didn't get the angle, but he got dang close, and I think that's a lot closer than most players would be able to. Northwood seemed locked in, and unfortunately, this is the concern we kind of had on the desk, is that, yeah, Akron, you're playing well, but you've kind of been peaking. This has been the best version of them. Meanwhile, Northwood, I don't think we saw the best version of them up until now. This version of Northwood just looks so on point. The demos are well coordinated. The passing plays seem to hit every time, and the defense is barely being fazed by the attempts that Akron are coming out with. And it's not due to Akron playing poorly, but I just think Northwood have figured out their opponents and really are just driving circles around them at the moment.
Ooh, especially with touches like that. Hockey getting escorted away by Patty, as that deflection again is something that Akron has to reposition for, grab their boost, and ready up for the next attack as 5 up will try to do it all himself. That's a nice touch off the backboard, being able to get a bump on Hockey as well. Pass down to Patty, deflection high. Gonna be a little tricky for Zanil. He had to see through the fire and flames to be able to get that touch. But Bullseye, unfortunately, maybe overthinking that last one.
He makes up for it, though, with a bump with a defender out at midfield, which should give some offense here to his team. Bullseye, he's ready for the follow-up this time. Is he ready to do anything with it? Oh, very much not so. No boost in the tank, and a long ball downfield forces Akron into a retreat yet again. They've got to do something with one of these offenses. They are building up these plays phenomenally. When it comes time for a shot on target, they are doing nothing to phase this Northwood defense. 2 minutes gone in this game. Still only a 1-goal ball game, so very doable for the comeback from Akron, but they got to break out of their half.
Patty Could be about an opportunity if he gets that off his hood, but Hockey is going to call that bluff. Immediate challenge as Bullseye tries to fake. Cream's also going to be just going straight through. I don't think Northwood even cares if they're trying to get faked out. They're just going to be able to challenge the ball, and that is it. It's a strategy that's working out well for them right now, and despite the fact that we've been so complimentary of Northwood's playstyle, I'm not really critical of Akron either. They just need to make sure they take away these types of opportunities. Good pre-jump to be able to get the first save, and none needed for Hockey's putback.
Breams got some space to work with and a decent amount of boost. Can he get past 5 up, though? No, he cannot, and neither can Hockey. The 50 in front of net, though, will linger around. I think Akron will find possession, but they won't find the clear. Breams, full tank, just needs a pass out center, and can't find it either. But Akron, lower and lower on boost with every one of these challenges they make. This long ball downfield is the reprieve they need, but 5 up has to stretch to find some boost and really can't establish much of an offense.
Maybe they can if they just take their angles appropriately. 5 up, understanding that he needs to create some chaos. Goes for bumps on Zanil. The high lob from Patty won't yield anything, but maybe some more deflections as Creams puts that one right into the ceiling. Patty's too late to it. Now Creams on the near post. That's a laser 5 up. Not fast enough.
And that's another one to add to the tally, and the death timer continues to chime here. Unfortunately for Akron, 2 goals in very quick succession are going to be difficult, especially considering Taco, I hate to mention him. This is 13 minutes scoreless for Akron. They have not scored since game number 2. This team needs something to get going.
And you don't even notice it when you're a player up until you really have to put it in perspective and say, hey, when is the last time we were able to score? And it starts to make you feel real feeble, and I don't really blame them because they've not been inert in these offenses. I will say this game is kind of the outlier for them. Only 1 singular shot recorded based on the in-game stats, so they're trying to be able to mount up anything, but notice how often in the midfield that happens. Hockey cuts in right before contact and just places it to the side.
I will say, I do think there's something we have to bring up in this moment as well, which is that this is Akron's first final in what feels like a hot minute, and the pressure from it seems to be getting to them. Another opportunity left at the table, and Hockey not going to punish them for it. He'll leave it to Zanil, but it really does feel like Akron are starting to feel the pressures of this grand final, feel the pressures of what is on the line. They know how capable this Northwood team is, and they know they might have missed their window of opportunity. 50 seconds to go. It is still possible for the turnaround, but they need to get something going.
Ooh, like that from Patty. Creams, it's a weird save. He still is able to lob that one so that Hockey can reach, as Bullseye going to be yielding that 50 to 5 up as Patty now pre-jumps this one. Maybe a pinch down the line. Bullseye was maybe waiting for something to find him in space, but instead it's Creams in space, producing a spectacular save. How about a follow-up? Hockey, double, no contact. Creams, how about his double from a close angle? He will also go off target. I don't even know if it really matters, Bass, though. 18 seconds, 2 goals. I just don't see it happening.
I honestly think they were just kind of messing around at that point. I think they went, we've got the win here. How often can we just force them into challenges? We don't need to score as long as we can keep them awkward and lock them into their half. Long ball downfield gives them a moment of reprieve, but it won't change the outcome. Akron, you couldn't get it done in the first, which means we're heading to a second. First reset complete. Northwood see another series.
Highly familiar as well for the last time they had to